Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and welcome back to Maple Street. As Alfred Hitchcock month comes to a close, I have to thank you all for joining me for another outstanding August. It's so fun talking about Alfred Hitchcock, and I have all of you to thank for tuning into the videos, commenting, sharing them, whatever you do to help. I appreciate it. Today we are, funny enough, not talking so much about Hitchcock, but one of Hitchcock's stars, Ingrid Bergman. Today is her birthday and I wanted to honor her by ranking my 10 favorite movies from her. Ingrid Bergman is such a great actress. She's someone that I'm very familiar with. When I did my second season of the 25 movies challenge, I focused on 5 actors and watched 5 movies from each of their filmographies, and Ingrid Bergman was one of those that I chose, and so really got to know her from that. And then honoring her this month as my star of the month was awesome because I rewatched some movies that I love from her. I also saw 4 movies from her for the first time. It's just been a great month combined with Hitchcock, Ingrid Bergman. It's been awesome. But let's get on to the video. So I have seen 16 Ingrid Bergman movies as of filming this today. I have all the ones I've seen on the screen right now for your reference. Without further ado, let's get started on my top 10 movies from Ingrid Bergman. Starting my list out at number 10, I have Murder on the Orient Express. This won Ingrid Bergman an Oscar for Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role. I think Murder on the Orient Express, though, it's a little hard to talk about with an Ingrid Bergman ranking video because since she is a supporting performance in it, it's not really her movie to begin with. It's actually kind of a movie that I enjoy because it's such a large cast of famous people from that time period. And so that's kind of like the big selling point on Murder on the Orient Express for me. Going into the movie, I already knew the storyline because strangely enough, I'd seen the 2017 movie. And so that was kind of unfortunate, but I kind of look at this movie as it exists. It's a fun time. Albert Finney does a great job. Ingrid Bergman is there. She does a good job in the performance that she gives. Nothing too crazy beyond that. It's a solid movie and it's my number 10. Coming in at number 9, I have Intermezzo. This is the original one from 1936. I actually have not seen the remake, but from what I understand, they're about the same in quality. I really enjoyed this one though, so I don't know why I didn't watch the remake. But Ingrid Bergman is stunning here. She is super young. It's one of her earliest film roles and she speaks Swedish in it. I couldn't help but think of the movie Brief Encounter while watching this, where you are happy for certain characters, but you also can't help but be sad for other characters. I mean, overall, the movie, it's kind of a peaceful watch. Like, you just watch it and you're taken out of the real world from the beautiful music, and it's really weird in the fact that it's heartbreaking but also heartwarming at the same time. My number 8 goes to Gaslight. This movie is so frustrating. I mean, you can kind of imagine that from the title. It's definitely about a character being gaslit. Is that the past tense? Basically, you got Ingrid Bergman, Charles Boyer, they're moving into a house, but the whole time, you know, there's something a little off with the husband, that he has more in mind than what he's showing to Ingrid Bergman's character. He's clearly the villain here, and he belongs in the yearbook of dislikable / punchable characters. I mean, his performance is great, but as you're watching the movie, you're incredibly frustrated with him, because you as the audience member, you are obviously rooting for Ingrid Bergman, and so anything bad that's happening to her when she is actively being gaslighted by him, you feel like you're also being gaslighted, and that's annoying. That's frustrating. It felt like a Hitchcock movie too. We're in Hitchcock month. I'm gonna try to mention the guy as much as I can. I think I'll appreciate this movie even more though on a rewatch. At number 7, I have The Bells of St. Mary. It is actually featured in my favorite movie of all time, It's a Wonderful Life. As George Bailey is running through Bedford Falls at the end, yelling Merry Christmas to everyone, he passes the theater and on the marquee you see The Bells of St. Mary playing. The most ironic thing about the whole situation is that Henry Travers plays in both Wonderful Life and The Bells of St. Mary's. But that's why I initially chose to watch this movie. The movie, though, was very pleasant. I mean, I did think it was a little sappy at times and sometimes a little too optimistic to the point where it was like, okay, how realistic is this? But it was still very enjoyable, and even in my initial review, I spotlighted Ingrid Bergman as the standout of the movie. Her character is so fun to follow. Her character is just so fun to follow. I mean, she plays a nun in this movie, if you couldn't tell by the poster, and at one point she literally teaches someone how to box. Like, she's just just so fun to watch and really fun nun, I guess. Oh, I should also mention this is a sequel to Going My Way, the Best Picture winner, so that's a fun little fact right there. It's also kind of a Christmas movie, which is a pro. I love Christmas movies, of course, but it's not like screaming Christmas. There's a nativity scene, and so that's really fun. But if you're looking for a black and white Christmas movie to watch around December, then I would recommend The Bells of St. Mary. If nothing else, it's a very feel-good movie, and so it gets that Christmas spirit going. At number 6, I have Autumn Sonata. I would call this my favorite performance from Ingrid Bergman. She gives a great performance here. It is absolutely incredible. I watched this movie during my 1970s challenge for the 25 Movies Challenge Season 1, and I was so happy I did because it put Ingrid Bergman more on my radar, but it also made me want to watch more Ingmar Bergman movies as well. The film is about a mother and a daughter trying to restore their relationship from years prior. The performances from both Liv Ullmann and Ingrid Bergman are so well done. When you're going into this movie, I wouldn't go into it for the story, even though it's a great one, but go into it for the performances, because that really is the standout for me. And it's part of the Criterion Collection, so that's always fun. All right, we are now in my top 5. Coming in at number 5, I have Spellbound, the first Alfred Hitchcock movie to make the list. Spellbound is a great movie. I really enjoy it. In fact, Ingrid Bergman's character is one of my favorite characters of her whole filmography. She plays this psychiatrist, and she's really attentive and just caring for her patients, in this case Gregory Peck. It's a hybrid story of caring for him but also falling in love with him. It's a Hitchcock movie, come on, there's got to be romance. And just watching the journey that she goes on with Gregory Peck in trying to solve the mystery of who he is, why he's having these episodes, it's very fascinating. I will say one con of the movie is I don't think it's as exciting as the first watch because you know what to expect, but there are still a lot of things to appreciate from Spellbound. I feel like every time I mention this movie without fail, I have to give a shout out to the dream sequences. I'll always do that, so just get used to it. The dream sequences are incredibly filmed. And although I know how the movie ends and everything, it still is a great story. And so if you're wanting a solid mystery film from the master of suspense, then I would definitely recommend watching this one. And Gregory Peck and Ingrid Bergman, they work well together, so it was cool watching them together too. The Visit is a very intriguing storyline. It kind of feels like a callback to a few of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes, most notably The Obsolete Man and The Shelter. The story follows Anthony Quinn's character, Ingrid Bergman's character, years prior to where we're at in the movie. They had a kid together, but because he wouldn't marry her, she was driven out of town. A lot of years pass, she comes back and she is a millionaire, and she's kind of welcomed with open arms from the town because they know how wealthy she is and everything. A total change of attitude towards her and everything, and they're very excited when she announces that she's going to donate millions of dollars to them, and she's going to give profits that each town member can split and everything. But the catch is they have to kill Anthony Quinn's character. That's the only way that she will stay true to her deal of giving the money. Crazy story, right? And that's what initially interested me in the movie, and that's what kept my engagement throughout the movie. It's very interesting to watch a town go from who they are to what they'll become under the influence of power and greed. I love those kinds of stories too. I mean, I love Monsters Are Due on Maple Street from Twilight Zone, The Shelter, and I think that's why this movie works so well for me. I was a fan of the ending. I would recommend this one. I mean, top 5 movies right there. So if you're looking for an underrated Ingrid Bergman film, then I highly recommend this one. Coming in at my number 3, we have Cactus Flower. I saw this movie earlier this year, and it was such a blast. It's very delightful, and it's funny because I actually think it's also kind of a dark comedy, but it's still very funny and very well written, and you just have a blast with these characters. The movie opens up with a character trying to commit suicide, so it's weird that I'm talking like, oh yeah, this movie's so funny and so fun, you should watch it, because like it is a dark comedy, but I loved that about it. It also has a really great cast. You have not only Ingrid Bergman, but also Goldie Hawn, Walter Matthau, and Jack Weston, who is an alumni from Twilight Zone, so of course I love the guy. It is a bit predictable, but I'm not really complaining because I don't even care. Like, I enjoyed the entire runtime, I had a blast with it, and so I don't care that it was predictable because it didn't ruin anything for me. And also I love the title. Like, it makes the movie even better. I had a smile on my face practically the whole time. This is a blast, and I highly recommend you check it out. Coming in at number 2, I have Notorious, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. There it is, Alfred Hitchcock month. out. We can stop talking about Hitchcock now. I'm just kidding, I'll always talk about him. Notorious is a masterpiece. This and my number 1 are the only 10 out of 10s on this list. They're the ones that I've seen the most on this list. I love these movies so much. Notorious is incredible though. Not only is it my second favorite Ingrid Bergman film, it's in my top 5 Hitchcock films as of filming this today. One of my favorite Cary Grant movies as well. When you're talking about Alfred Hitchcock and you're talking about the suspense, this is a prime example of what to expect from him. Plenty of suspenseful moments in this movie. And if you're not completely sold on Notorious, I would recommend giving it a rewatch. For me, when I first saw it years ago, I thought it was great, but it has been each rewatch since then that I have grown to love it. That just proves my case for my last video that Alfred Hitchcock movies are different on a rewatch. I highly recommend rewatching Notorious, or if you haven't seen it, watch it for the first time. Ingrid Bergman, Cary Grant, they have amazing chemistry. Claude Rains is incredible as this villainous Nazi. Oh, it's just so good. I love so much about it. I love the cinematography, what Alfred Hitchcock does with the camera. You know the scene I'm talking about. The suspense, the ending, all the directions the movie goes in. It is a thrill ride. And number 1 should be no surprise. Here's looking at you, kid. It is Casablanca. So I actually rewatched this movie in preparation for the video because I hadn't seen it in years. I had it at my number 2 on the ranking, and I was about 20-30 minutes into the movie, and I was like, yeah, this is my favorite movie from her. It's just perfect. I don't really know what to say about Casablanca that others haven't said. I'll still make an effort, but it's one of those movies that you just let happen and you're amazed the entire time. I love the storyline. I love the setting. The characters are great. Humphrey Bogart as Rick, one of the coolest characters ever. Love Rick. Ingrid Bergman is also great in this movie too. I like her character a lot, and the movie makes you like her too. Like, it's not like she's this ex-girlfriend of the past and you hate her when she's on screen. I really do like her when I'm watching her and everything. There are plenty of other great characters too. Because this is Ingrid Bergman's video though, I will talk mostly about her. She gives a great performance here, great chemistry with Humphrey Bogart. It was made in the heart of World War II, and that is literally a plot point of the movie, of course. It's Casablanca. What more can I say? Watch the movie, rewatch the movie, experience Casablanca for yourselves. It is the best Ingrid Bergman movie in my opinion. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another video. I had a blast filming Alfred Hitchcock month. I had a blast honoring Ingrid Bergman for my star of the month this month. As per usual, please comment below your favorite Ingrid Bergman movies. I would love to hear them. Let me know how our rankings differ. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for visiting Maple Street. Have a great day.